Okay, all the new parts have been fabricated and we're going to have them with us for the next Grand Prix.
It may only be Friday, but the carnival atmosphere has begun. We're here in Mexico, ready for free practice.
Okay, we need a few solid laps here to help us calculate a good race strategy. Okay, test complete, and that was a really good job indeed. We got a lot of valuable information out of that. Well done. Right, let's have you in at the end of this lap, please.
What an incredible practice set.
We need to be sure we can manage the tyres through a lap, so try to keep the wear down through each corner. Be especially careful accelerating on corner exit. Because temperature's so important for your tyres, cool down laps are now vital after a push lap so that we don't light up the rubber too much, not to mention recharging the battery. Programme complete and a job well done. We got some excellent data with that run, so come on back to the garage and I can take you through the numbers. Okay, we can take you this lap.
And if today's practice is...
Okay, don't worry about tyres, just give it everything. In this test, we just want to make sure we can lap close to our rival's pace. Okay, test complete, and that was a really good job indeed. We got a lot of valuable information out of that. Well done. Understood. Stopping this lap.
And that's it. Practice is officially over. What an atmosphere we've got. The fans have been here since dawn, and the stadium, the Faro Sol, is absolutely heaving. We're about to get set. It's qualifying day here in Mexico City. With qualifying complete, all that remains now is the main event. We'll be live and Back in the 60s, Mexico City would host the season-ending race, a party of motor racing. Well, we might not host the finale now, but Mexico hosts a party nonetheless. So welcome to the Autodromo Hermanos Rodriguez for the Mexico City Grand Prix. We're a long way above sea level here in Mexico today, which could pose some cooling issues for the cars as they make their way around this 2.6-mile lap. 17 corners with top speeds in excess of 220 miles per hour, and watch out for potential overtaking into turns 1 and 4. So with the race not far away from starting, here's what today's grid rundown looks like. Ace lines up on pole position, edging out Max Verstappen, who'll start from P2. Moving on to the rest of the grid, we have Norris, Fernando Alonso, Leclerc, Perez, Oscar Piastri, Sainz, Russell, Hamilton, Albon, Gasly, Tsunoda, Stroll, Ocon, Bottas, Ricciardo, Hülkenberg, Magnussen, and Logan Sargent. That's it then, it's time to go racing as we head down trackside for today's race. And alongside me today, former Formula One driver and former world champion too. See, told you I'll give you a big intro. Anthony Davidson, hello. Let's look at their season, and particularly against their teammate. Fair to say they've got the better of them more often than not.
Yeah, they have, and it's, rule number one, beat your teammate. They're the one that share the same equipment as you, and yes, the cars can vary in setup from race to race and depending on who has which style, but essentially they're your barometer, the yardstick. If you can beat them, that's the first job you have to do. And it looks like it's going their way, doesn't it? And they need to carry on this momentum, this energy through the rest of the season.
Right, I know you're hot in the cockpit, but your tyres are going to be even hotter. You're going to have to work extra hard today to keep them cool. Okay, DRS will be enabled this lap. You can use it when you're within 1 second of the car ahead and in the DRS zone. Good job, that was the fastest lap of the race so far. That was the fastest lap of the race. Keep this up. Well done. Okay, so we're leading our teammate by 17.8 seconds. Approaching the pit window now, and you're going to be on hards next time. Okay, mate, we've got some clear track around us now, so let's use it and make this next lap a quick one. Let's go. mate, you made that look easy. Nice work. That's why I love working with you. Smashed it. Box this lap and push hard on the in-lap. Okay, pit in this lap and remember the speed limit. We'll be penalised if we exceed it. Keep that in mind as you approach. Confirmed, we'll receive you at the end of this lap. Okay, off we go, back into the race. Perfect job from you and the crew there, mate. We're delighted with that. Up to speed now, let's get some heat into those tyres. Valtteri's in the pits. You're leading the pack, that's P1, and Verstappen's behind. They're on fresh mediums. Pit strategy complete. See these tyres through to the end now, and that's 8 laps to go. dropping a second a lap to the car behind. 1 second. Okay, mate, after that front wing damage, we've got to look after it now. Please protect the front wing. Come on. Watch out for understeer in the wake of the car ahead. Try to get past as quickly as you can. Push, push. Starting to catch the car in front, but we need to look after the tyres. We won't be making another pit stop. Okay, nice work. Really good job with that target, mate. Gap to your teammate behind, 35.4 seconds. Okay, clear. Okay, this is Mark. I need you to stop cutting the corners. If you keep it up, the stewards are going to give you a penalty. Caution, caution. Green flag. Okay, we've been given a time penalty. It will go against our finishing time at the end of the race.
Nice one. Very lovely drive. On to the next one.
Yes, and that's a podium. Excellent drive. The whole team have worked especially hard this weekend, and that, my friend, is a fantastic reward. Well done.
Here's the checkered flag, and our winner has landoed. It's Lando Norris for victory. Our winning drivers are on their way to the podium right now. It's been a fantastic race for McLaren, that's for sure. And no doubt, they'll be celebrating tonight. Well, that was certainly an exciting weekend of Formula One. Be sure to join us for more exciting Formula One action very soon.
Okay, mate, we didn't get what we needed there, I'm afraid. But head down, chin up, and let's focus on the rest of the race. Right, I'm afraid we didn't quite meet our targets there, but don't worry about it. Get your head down and chin up, and let's focus on the rest of this race. That wasn't quite what we needed, I'm afraid, but listen, don't worry about it. It's a long way to go, so let's just focus until the end. We didn't quite get what we needed out of that, I'm afraid, but don't worry about it. There's a long way to go. Chin up, and let's focus till the end. Okay, that wasn't quite what we needed there, I'm afraid, but listen, not to worry. Get your head down and chin up, and let's focus for the rest of this race.